Hi, this is Prithvi here, and welcome back to another video. This one I did promise. It is... it's massive, actually. I don't know how long it's going to be, because I'm doing this on the wing, but what this is every single Doctor Who episode here. Over 840 episodes. Over is the key word. Because I've got minisodes in here, I've got the documentaries here, and I've got some doubles as well. I've got a double of the Five Doctors there, and also one of The Enemy of the World and Sharda, which is all the way down here, and Name of the Doctor appears in both these sets. But this is every single Doctor Who episode on DVD mainly, but also Blu-ray, as can be seen here, and CD, which can be seen there. So that is every single Doctor Who episode, and I will be going through them, going through each season. There are 36 seasons, and I will just go through every one of them in order, and I will list my favourite episodes and why, my worst favourites and why, well, least favourites rather, and I will also pick out key stories or landmark stories. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. And we start things off with Season 1. So, the first episode is An Earthly Child, also known as 1000 BC, or 100,000 BC rather. The Daleks, or the Mutants. The Edge of Destruction, otherwise known as Inside the Spaceship. Marco Polo, which doesn't have an alternative title like the rest of them. Keys of Marinus, the Aztecs, the Centaurites, and the Reign of Terror. Now, this is back in the day when Doctor Who was a kids show. Well, it kind of still is a kids show, but this is more of a family show now. But it was in the days when they were trying to educate kids about science and history. And out of these episodes, key episodes include An Unearthly Child, which is the very first story. The Daleks, which is the first one with the Daleks in. The Keys of Marinus, interestingly enough, is also written by Terry Nation, like the Daleks, and Marco Polo is the only one which is completely missing. My favourite episodes out of this collection, gotta say it, the Keys of Marinus, because the Keys of Marinus is actually a really good story, and it's written by Terry Nation, and it's got a very, very good plot. Watch it if you have the chance. My least favourite is The Edge of Destruction, because it's forgettable. I honestly can't remember what happens in it. But, you know, the thing is, nothing really does actually happen in it. It's basically just messing about, and then ooh, fast return switch. And that's it. But, yeah. Anyway, moving on to Season 2. And Season 2, interestingly enough, is the most complete of the William Hartnell story seasons, rather. Okay, so in this we have got Planet of Giants, the Dalek Invasion of Earth, the Rescue, the Romans, the Web Planet, the Crusade, the Space Museum, the Chase, and the Time Meddler. Now, landmark episodes. Oopsie-daisy. Landmark episodes include The Dalek Invasion of Earth, which was actually made into a film with Peter Cushing, and The Crusade, which has only got 2 missing episodes. The Web Planet is quite iconic because of the Menoptera and the Zabi. And The Chase is also a Dalek story. Time Meddler has got the first appearance of the Meddling Monk, played by Peter Busworth. Okay, my favourite story in this is Dark Invasion of Earth. It's a really good story. Again, like The Case of Marinus, I would recommend that you watch it. But my least favourite, I think, has to be the Rescue. Because it's basically just about a crashed spaceship and meeting a new companion, and that is it. Literally, that is it. I'm not actually that fussy on the historic ones mainly, which is the Romans and the Crusades, but the Time Meddler, which is technically one, is also quite interesting as well because it has the first appearance of another Time Lord other than the Doctor and Susan. Here you go. And Peter Bestwith is absolutely amazing as the monk, by the way. He's just phenomenal. Now, moving on to Season 3, which, as you can see, is mainly missing. So, lots of CDs here, because the CDs are the soundtracks, and the soundtracks still remain. They have tried to animate episodes. They've done it with... I can't remember it now. The Reign of Terror. And a few others. I'll point them out as I'm going through. But the soundtracks still remain, and it's all quite lovely, actually. So we have got Galaxy 4. Interestingly enough, with Galaxy 4, Episode 3 has been recovered, and it's you can find it on the Aztecs Special Edition DVD. And the rest of this has been reconstructed. There's quite a lengthy bit in from Episode 1 which remains, which is very, very nice, actually. It's very good quality. The Mythmakers, which is completely missing. Oh, actually, just a note, there's one in between these, which is Mission to the Unknown, which is one episode. However, it is included on this next one. The Daleks' Master Plan. We also have the Crusade, the Massacre, or the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve is the long title. The Ark, the Celestial Toymaker, the Gunfighters, the Savages, and the War Machines. Now, out of these, my favourite episode is... I don't know. I've got four in mind, which are the War Machines, the Ark, the Celestial Toymaker, and the Dark's Master Plan, but I can't decide which one I prefer. War Machines. I've just made up my mind. It's War Machines which I like. War Machines is my favourite because it's written by the same person who created Cybermen, kind of. Ian Stuart Black, based on an idea by Kit Pensler, who was actually the scientific advisor at the time, but he later went into writing, and of course created Cybermen. And although the monsters aren't great, it's still a fantastic episode. I remember watching this on VHS, and it's really good. I still remember it. My least favourites, however, is... again, I've got two to choose from. Either the Mythmakers or the Massacre. Probably the Massacre, because I can't remember much of it. But it's a historical adventure set in France, and it's got a doppelganger of the Doctor, which is great, actually. It's the first time it was ever done, but I can't remember much of it, if I'm honest. Also, in the final episode, the Doctor does a speech, and it is quite a speech. Find the soundtrack on YouTube. You can find it in my Doctor Who speeches playlist, actually, but yeah, find it, listen to it, and it is... And I don't know why, and it's so underrated, I don't know why people don't talk about it more often. Anyway, moving on to Season 4, Season 4, where everything changes. And if I'm honest, everything changes in a slightly controversial way. Because we've got the first regeneration and a new look for the show where they start going away from historical adventures. But the first episode is actually an historical adventure, The Smugglers, the 10th planet, which has the first appearance of the Cybermen and the first regeneration as well. Power of the Daleks. This one has been completely reanimated using the original soundtracks. And there's also Patrick Troughton's first episode as well, and it is a really, really good story. Recommended. The Highlanders, which is the final proper historical adventure. Any other historical adventure from now on has a scientific twist. The Underwater Menace. The Moon Base. The Macra Terror. The Faceless Ones. In fact, interestingly enough, the Macra Terror was the first one to use the new titles with the second Doctor's face, and episode 3 of the Faceless Ones is the first one to use the new theme tune. And we also have the Evil of the Daleks, the final end for the Daleks. Also introducing Victoria Waterfield, the late Deborah Watling. Okay, so my favourite episode out of these, you know, I'm spoiled for choice. I like the 10th Planet, I like Power of the Daleks, I like Faceless Ones, I like Evil of the Daleks. But I think I have to go with Faceless Ones, because Faceless Ones is scary. It really is. It's about people being kidnapped from aeroplanes, and because I'm an almost frequent flyer, then yeah, it's going to be a bit nerve-wracking, but it is also a really good story as well, as is pretty much any of the others. My least favourite, however, I think has to be The Underwater Menace, because it's just not really my cup of tea. I can't remember what happens in it, but, you know, evil scientists trying to blow up the world. Not convinced. But also, release-wise, the worst has to be The Underwater Menace or The Moon Base. Both of them are by far the worst DVDs in the collection, because they're basically half-assed, if I'm honest. BBC Worldwide released them both as sort of something as a money spinner. Moonbase has animated episodes in it, which is fantastic. Underwater Menace has episode 2 in it with non-animated episodes. They're just telesnap reconstructions. Telesnaps, by the way, are little screenshots from each episode which the director was given if they ordered them. So, Underwater Menace isn't great. It doesn't really have many special features. Neither does the Moonbase, and the special features are what let them down. Still, quite a good season, but better is to come. In Season 5, Season 5 has got some of the best episodes in it. So, first of all, we have got Tomb of the Cybermen, The Abominable Snowmen, The Ice Warriors, Enemy of the World, The Web of Fear, Food from the Deep, and The Wheel in Space. Now, key episodes in here, key stories rather. Tomb of the Cybermen was missing until 1992, when all 4 episodes were discovered in Hong Kong, of all places. Sorry. And that was quite something, actually, when it was discovered. And it caused a massive stir, wondering if there were any more missing episodes. Of course, there are. But, still. Yeah. The Abominable Snowman is the first to include the Great Intelligence, which later appears in The Web of Fear, and then doesn't make an appearance again for about another 50 years. And the next appearance is in The Snowmen, which is all the way over there in season 33. So, yeah. So, season 33, they do come back, and this is season 5, just for a bit of context. No, is it? Yeah, 33. Anyway, The Ice Warriors has got 2 animated episodes, which is great. It also includes Bernard Bresslaw as the Ice Warrior, Varga. Enemy of the World was missing until 2013, as was as was Web of Fear, and they were discovered all at the same time, and it was the biggest Doctor Who episodes, sort of recapture, I could say, the biggest in the world, with a whopping 9 episodes. However, 10 episodes were actually discovered, because the special features on Enemy of the World Special Edition actually say that episode 3 of The Web of Fear, which is the first episode with the Brigadier, was actually discovered, but then was mislaid. Which is such a shame, because this one, episode 3, is recreated here with telesnaps. Yeah. Then Fury from the Deep is the first one, which includes the sonic screwdriver. So, and it was written by, it doesn't say, but I do know who wrote it anyway, which is Victor Pemberton, and that's why at the end of my Sonic Screwdriver reviews I always put Sonic Screwdriver created by Victor Pemberton, because he's never credited as the creator of the Sonic Screwdriver, and he ought to be, because he wrote it in. He's the one who wrote Fury from the Deep in, and then others thought, oh, that's a good idea, let's copy him. And so, yeah, that's how it all works out. The Wheel in Space is also the first episode to include Wendy Padbury as Zoe, and it also includes the Cybermen. And she took over from Deborah Rosling, of course, who left in Fury from the Deep. Now, my favourite episodes out of these, this is a difficult one, I have to say, because they're all really good. Web of Fear, go on. The Web of Fear is really good. It also uses music which was later used in The Shining by Stanley Kubrick, which sets the tension very, very well. And it's this fantastic story. It's really a shame that episode 3 is missing. My least favourite is The Wheel in Space, because that is the weakest story in the whole lot, and it's just not good at all. But anyway, I've been waffling around for about 20 minutes now, so let's carry on and we get to season 6. And again, season 6, like season 2, is almost complete. And in this collection, we have got the Dominators, which also includes the Sonic Screwdriver, the Mind Robber, the Invasion, the Crotons, the Seeds of Death, the Space Pirates, and the War Games. Now, oops, no, for goodness sake. Now, my favourite episodes out of these has to be The Invasion. It's also got 2 missing episodes which have been animated, which is fantastic. But it's a really good story. Last to actually feature the Cybermen until 1975, which is a long time to go without Cybermen. But key episodes in this, there aren't really many key episodes, apart from the War Games, which includes the Doctor's regeneration. It's also the 3rd longest story, with 10 episodes. So there you go. My least favourite is has to be the Space Pirates. Although I need to listen to it again, because I've listened to it twice, and the second time I appreciated it more, and I'm starting to warm to it being a good-ish story, but at the moment it's still my least favourite out of these. But the story isn't great. In fact, we know so little about the Space Pirates that one of the main characters, we don't even know what he looks like. In that is how rare this is. I'm kind of hoping that we will have more stories like this, animated, or, well, perhaps not animated, but discovered, rediscovered, because we need to watch them in order to find out more about them. But yeah, that's season, was it 6 for you? And now we move into the colour era of the 1970s. And this is actually one of the shortest seasons, story-wise. In fact, the shortest. We have got Spearhead from Space, which was filmed entirely on film. It's also the first episode to feature John Pertwee as the Doctor. And it was also the first classic episode to be made on Blu-ray, interestingly enough. Doctor Who and the Silurians comes up next, followed by The Ambassadors of Death and Inferno. Key episodes from this: Spearhead from Space, because it includes the Autons for the first time as well as the Third Doctor, and being the first colour episode. Doctor Who and the Silurians includes the Silurians for the first time, which were last seen in 2014, actually, with Madame Vastra. And Inferno, which is just a fan favourite, if I'm honest. But my favourite episode out of all of these is The Ambassadors of Death, because it's such a good release and a good story as well. I can't get enough of it, honestly. But if I'm honest, it's quite, it's quite fair going, because, it's a difficult choice, because they're all very good episodes. But my least favourite, I'm sorry, is Inferno, because I haven't really seen it that as often as the others. I really need to see it again in order to appreciate it, but because I've only seen it once, it's my least favourite, because the last time I saw it was quite a few years ago now, so I need to rewatch that. But yeah, really good season. Well done to the producers and the directors and the scriptwriters and editors and the actors, of course. Very, very well done indeed. But we need to move on to this season 8. And we begin with Terror of the Autons, which features the Autons again, and the first appearance of the Master, who was last seen last year, actually. We've also got Joe Grant for the first time. This one, The Minds of Evil, also includes the Master. Claws of Axos also includes the Master. Colony in Space also has the Master, and the Demons also has the Master. So you see a pattern here. The Master's in every single one of these. Yeah, they really wanted to capitalise on him very, very well, and Roger Delgado did a fantastic job, I have to say. But moving on to key episodes, Terror of the Autons, because that's just really good. The Demons is one of the only ones with 5 episodes, which, well, is unfortunate, because it's a really good story, and he could have done with 6. Release-wise, Claws of Axos was the only one on DVD for quite a number of years, actually. But this is a special edition. But the original edition was in there. The Minds of Evil first episode was colorized by hand from original black and white tapes. And it was colorized by someone who has a YouTube channel called Babel Color, or Stuart Humphreys. Please check him out, because he does absolutely amazing, amazing work. Really, really does. But yeah, still. My favourite episode out of these is The Demons, because it has a vicar in it who turns out to be the Master, and that's a bit terrifying, because you need to trust vicars. My least favourite episode is Colony in Space. Although Colony in Space, actually, interestingly enough, does actually include the sonic screwdriver. It's rare fact, but it does actually include the sonic screwdriver. Inferno technically does include the sonic screwdriver as well, but it's not official. It's not referred to as the sonic screwdriver, it's just a fan theory that it is the sonic screwdriver. The Doctor basically just calls it his door handle, and it is what we call in modern terms a remote control for a garage. But anyway, that's season 8. Now we move on to season 9. And season 9 is a bit of a mixed bag, if I'm honest. We start with the Day of the Daleks, which is the first episode about the Daleks to be aired since the Daleks, his final end. Excuse me. We then have the Kiss of Peladon, which features the Ice Warriors again. But this time, they're good. The Sea Devils, which is purely iconic. Mutants, which isn't. And the Time Warrior, which is, well, kind of iconic, but also a bit dull. So, key episodes. I've just listed them, haven't I? Okay, Sea Devils and the Time Monster include the Master. Also, the Sea Devils includes a proper look at the sonic screwdriver, which is great, actually. So, yeah, my favourite episodes out of these is the Sea Devils. The Sea Devils is an iconic episode, and it's really, really good, actually. Recommend a watch. My least favourite is the Mutants, because I think it's just a bit of a drag. It just goes on too long. And, yeah, it's not great, if I'm honest. However, Day of the Daleks, the original edition, has got the most appalling Dalek voices ever heard. Seriously. Listen to the Daleks from Day of the Daleks, they're just terrible. So, when they did a special edition, which also is on this, Nicholas Briggs dubbed over the voice of the Daleks to make them seem more like Daleks, and it makes the world of difference. It really, really does. Anyway, moving on to season 10, which is, well, you'll see. And this is season 10. We start off with the Three Doctors, which is the first multi-doctor story. Carnival of Monsters. Frontier in Space. Planet of the Daleks, and the Green Death. Now, key episodes in this includes Three Doctors, of course, being the first multi-doctor story, and the one where the Time Lords actually forgive the Doctor for stealing the TARDIS. It's also counts as the 10th anniversary special, even though its broadcast is the 30th of December 1972, which is almost a year out. Anyway, Frontier in Space is the last episode, which includes the Master, unfortunately, because unfortunately Roger Delgado dies in a car crash in Turkey soon after that episode was made, so that's his last episode. Planet of the Daleks is the first one written by Terry Nation since 1966, and the reason why is because they made Day of the Daleks, and then Terry Nation rang them up and he said, you know, I still have the rights to them, and they thought, oh, we better commission a script. So that's how Planet of the Daleks came about. The Green Death is set and filmed in Wales, around the area where I grew up, actually. And it is actually quite good. So it kind of has a special place in my heart. In fact, I bought this very DVD in the Asda, which is in, well, the closest Asda to the location, which is very interesting again. And it also includes the farewell of Joe Grant. Anyway, my favourite episodes out of these Well, my girlfriend's favourite episode is Carnival of Monsters, but my favourite episode personally is The Green Death. The Green Death I've chosen because it's a good story, and it is a good story, and I think that it deserves more recognition. My least favourite has to be Frontier in Space. I'm sorry, but it is, apart from episode 6, which is excellent, it's just not a really good story. Episode 6 is epic though, because it includes the Master and Daleks. Watch episode 6 of The Frontier in Space if you're going to watch any episodes, because it's just amazing. But also, Frontier in Space includes the Draconians, which is also quite nice. And they haven't made another appearance since. Just to remind us, a Draconian. Please come back in Series 11. Please. But anyway, from Series 11 to Season 11, as we continue our journey. Hang on. It's really difficult to holding one with one hand on the DVDs and another holding the camera. It's really awkward. And this is Season 11, finally. We have got Time Warrior, which includes the Sontarans and Sarah Jane for the first time. It also includes one character played by Jeremy Bulloch, who later plays Boba Fett in Star Wars. Yay! Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Death to the Daleks. The Monster of Peldon, and Planet of the Spiders. Now, key episodes in this, I've already listed as Time Warrior. Death to the Daleks is the last Dalek story of the Pertwee era. Monster of Peldon is the last Ice Warrior story until 2013, believe it or not. And Planet of the Spiders is the one in which the Doctor regenerates. Oh yes. My favourite episodes out of these... Planet of the Spiders, because it's just like a Bond movie, and I like Bond movies. Planet of the Spiders, yes, that's an interesting one, but I quite like it because it scared my father to death when he watched it live, and he was only about 5 or 6 when he watched this, so yeah, that's scary. Invasion of the Dinosaurs is a good story, except for the CGI, or the puppets, as they were. My least favourite is Death to the Daleks. And it's just the weakest of them all. That don't get me wrong, they are good. They are all good stories, but Death to the Daleks isn't as good as the rest of them. But anyway, now that we've regenerated for the third time, it's time to introduce a new Doctor and a new era of Doctor Who. And this is it. This is actually technically one story. It's a story arc, one of the first in Doctor Who ever. And interestingly enough, all these were released on Blu-ray earlier this year as box sets. But let's begin with Season 12. We have got Robot, which is Tom Baker's first adventure. Hooray! The Ark in Space, the Sontaran Experiment, Genesis of the Daleks, and Revenge of the Cybermen. As you can see, Genesis of the Daleks has got the Doctor Who #1 story ever on it. And it kind of still holds that title, because in the Doctor Who magazine poll a few years ago, for the first 50 years, this was the highest ranking classic episode. There you go. So, key episodes in this, Robots, of course, being the first one to include the Fourth Doctor. The Ark in Space is actually shares the same set as Revenge of the Cybermen. There you go. Sontaran Experiments, Genesis of the Daleks, and Revenge of the Cybermen all include monsters which won't be seen for another few years. Most notably the Cybermen, because they don't appear again until the 1980s. The Daleks appear towards the end of the 70s, and the Sontarans appear sooner. The Ark in Space scares my mother, and she's still scared of it, as far as I know. She's refused steadfastly to watch it. But yeah, that's really good. It's a good story. My favourite is actually Genesis of the Daleks, because it is really, 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 really well written. Highly, highly recommended. But my least favourite, sorry to say it, Revenge of the Cybermen, is not as well written as the rest, and it's a bit forgetful, if I'm honest. But anyway, I'm trying to get through these as quickly as possible now, so I better stop talking and move on to season 13. Yeah, and now the seasons get longer by one story. Season 13 includes Lucky 13, sorry, is, well, actually Lucky 13, because these are all really good. Terror of the Zygons, The Planet of Evil, Pyramids of Mars, The Android Invasion, Brain of Morbius, and The Seeds of Doom. Key episodes in this includes Terror of the Zygons, which says goodbye to Harry Sullivan, who made his debut in Robots, actually. So he's gone. Pyramids of Mars is written by Robert Holmes, who's a very prolific scriptwriter and creator of the Sontarans and the Autons. And he was actually script editor at the time, but he decided to write an episode incognito, as it were. So you got that. Then The Android's Invasion is written by Terry Nation. There you go. And The Brain of Morbius has got another Time Lord in it, which is the 6th Time Lord, I think, we've seen, with the name. But yeah, great stories all around. My favourite episode out of all of these is Pyramids of Mars, because I am mad about ancient Egypt. And I also had nightmares from the mummies. I really did. I thought they were standing behind the door or something. And I watched this one constantly, and it's one of my favourite episodes of all time. My least favourite, however, is Planet of Evil. And the reason why is, yeah, it's just forgetful. It's not great, and I can't really remember that much of it, I'm afraid. I need to rewatch some of these terrible episodes again for me to appreciate them. But anyway, that's season 13 done and dusted. Now let's move on to season 14. And season 14, like season 4, is all about change. We have The Mask of Mandragora, which is filmed almost entirely in Wales. Yay! The Hands of Fear, Sarah Jane Smith's final classic story. Oh, yes, drops off in Aberdeen. Des the Assassin, The Face of Evil, Robots of Death, and The Talons of Wang Chiang, which, again, like Planet of the Spider, scares my father. Now, key episodes in this. The Deadly Assassin includes the Master for the first time since Frontier in Space. The Hands of Fear is the last one to include Sarah Jane Smith, and The Face of Evil is the first one to include Leela. Talons of Wang Chiang also introduces us to Jago and Lightfoot, who go off on their own miniseries in Big Finish. Unfortunately not anymore, because Trevor Baxter, who played Lightfoot, has unfortunately passed away. But my favourite out of these is The Talons of Wang Chiang, because it's just good episodes. Very, very well written, and definitely worth a watch. My least favourites, The Face of Evil. I'm sorry, it's The Face of Evil. The Face of Evil is not as great as the other ones. It does have a computer which looks exactly like the Doctor, but that's the only interesting part of it, I'm afraid. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's everything done and dusted. Although, Deadly Assassin is quite good as well. I would either choose Talons of Wang Chiang, Robots of Death, or Deadly Assassin for my favourite episodes, because, well, they're all quite good. But Talons of Wang Chiang, for me, just tips it over the edge. But it's very, very close. Oh, And now moving on to season 15. And season 15 is one of the more interesting seasons. We start with the horror of Fang Rock, which was written by the ex-script editor Terence Dix, and includes the Rootons, which are the sworn enemy of the Sontarans. The invisible enemy includes K9 for the first time, Image of the Fendal, the Sunmakers, Underworld, and the Invasion of Time, which has the Rooton sworn enemy, the Sontarans. Now, there aren't many key episodes, apart from the ones I've just listed. Invasion of Time also sees the end of Leela, and it includes the Doctor being president of Gallifrey for the first time, even though it's a bit confusing, and it's to actually set up this whole trap. Anyway, my favourite episode is The Sunmakers, because it's really, really good, and it's really underrated as well. It's written by Robert Holmes, who's, as I said, a very prolific scriptwriter, and I just like his work. He's a really good writer. He was a very good writer, actually, and it's a shame that he's no longer with us, because I think that he would have written some fantastic stories for the new series as well. My least favourite, Image of the Fendal, again because, like many of the others, it's a bit forgetful, and yeah, not my favourites actually. But Underworld isn't very good either. So try and stay clear of Underworld and Image of the Fendal. But the rest of them you can see to your heart's content, although the Enemy of the World is a bit iffy as well. Invisible Enemy, sorry, is a bit iffy as well. But never mind. Moving on. And welcome everybody to the Key to Time season. First episode, the Ribos Operation. Then we have the Pirate's Planet, the Stones of Blood, Androids of Tara, Power of Kroll, and the Armageddon Factor. Key episodes. The Ribos Operation sees the first time we see K9 Mark II in operation, because of course K9 Mark I went with Leela and stayed on Gallifrey. And the Armageddon Factor is the first time we see the Black Guardian, and also it's the first time we get to see Leela, or Lala Ward, rather. Romana, I meant. Or Romana 2, because Romana 1 appears in the Ribos Operation. Played by Mary Tam. My favourite episode after this has to be The Pirate Planet, because it's filmed in my area. I've been to the filming locations, and I know where they all are, or most of them where they are, or were rather. So yeah, that's very close to my heart, because it's filmed in my hometown. Actually, it's filmed in my hometown in South Wales. In fact, it's filmed opposite the village of Pwllheli, which my channel is named after. So that's actually quite a story. It's also recently novelised, actually. But my least favourite out of these is The Power of Kroll. It does include a Welshman in it, Philip Maddock, who also appears in War Games and The Braid of Morbius. But it's not a good episode. Androids of Tara I can remember slightly more about, but Power of Kroll is just forgetful for me, as is the Armageddon Factor, if I'm honest. Also, interestingly enough, the Armageddon Factor was the last 6-part story to be broadcast. There you go, that's true. Anyway, moving on to a sort of unfinished season, but was recently finished in the form of season... What is the minutes? 13, 14, 15... And this is season 16, isn't it? Yeah, season 16. So the next one is season 17. Sorry about that. This is an absolutely Goliath of a video, isn't it? 45 minutes. Great Scott. We start season 17 with Destiny of the Daleks, which includes Davros and the Daleks and the Movellans. The Movellans appeared in 2017, actually. Very, very briefly, though. But this also includes the second Romana. She regenerates in between Armageddon Factor and Destiny of the Daleks, but we don't get to see it, actually. We just get to see Romana trying on different bodies, which is quite entertaining. But I think if that happened to the Doctor, then it would be a bit repetitive. I think it was only plays once, and I'm glad of it. City of Death, which used the first bit of location filming, actually. Creature from the Pit. No, location filming abroad. Creature from the Pit, Nightmare of Eden, and Horns of Nimon. And now the next one is unbroadcast. Sharda. Yeah. So, mixed bag really. This new version of Sharda has been animated, so that's now complete. The original Sharda, this one, was released on VHS with linking narration from Tom Baker, and it's quite a good story. But with the recreations, that one is alright, actually. But that's only one episode, and that is 6. So yeah. But still in broadcast. BBC, please put your act together and broadcast it. Yeah. So, my favourite episodes out of these is City of Death. Because it's just a good story, and it's iconic as well. It's an iconic story, and it's a good story, and I just can't get enough of it. Also, interestingly enough, David Agnew also wrote, what is it? This Sontaran one. The Invasion of Time. However, The Invasion of Time wasn't written by David Agnew, and neither was this. The original David Agnew was the script editor and producer who wanted to write one of their own episodes of their own, and this David Agnew was the script editor at the time for this season, which is Douglas Adams, you know, from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So he script edited all of these, and he was basically locked in a hotel room to do City of Death, which is a good anecdote at parties, I suppose. But yeah, he also wrote Sharda all by himself, just about. But my least favourite episode is Nightmare of Eden. No, it isn't. Horns of Nimon. Because the Horns of Nimon isn't the most forgettable episode here, but it is just not great, if I'm honest, Horns of Nimon. It plays on the sort of Jason and the Golden Fleece, except that only reveals... No, Jason and the Argonauts. Sorry, Theseus and the Minotaur. I'm getting my mythology mixed up. But yeah, Theseus and the Minotaur is what it's based on, and it's alright to some extent, but it's a bit silly in other respects. Yeah, but moving on to Tom Baker's final season, season 18. Cue the new electronic theme tune. We have got The Leisure Hive, which includes part of the title on the cover, if you see. Meglos, which includes Jacqueline Hill, who plays Barbara. Wow. Full Circle, which includes Adric for the first time. State of Decay. Warrior's Gate, in which Romana and K9 leave. Keeper of Traken, in which we get introduced to Nyssa. And Logopolis, in which we get introduced to Tegan Jovanka, and to the alien's master, and we say goodbye to the absolutely amazing Tom Baker. Now, Keeper of Traken, we also get to see the Master as well, played by Jeffrey Beavers, I believe, who's great as the Master. He does work for Big Finish as well, check him out. But yeah, my favourite episode out of these is Logopolis. It's a good story, and it sends the Fourth Doctor out with a bang, I think. And yeah, it is really good. It keeps you on your seat, on the edge of your seat, rather. My least favourite has to be Warrior's Gate, because I was just confused by it. If I'm honest, it's very abstract, and I don't really like abstract things. So Warrior's Gate is my least favourite, Logopolis is my favourite. And now we move on, a new era. This is a new era. We move on to the next season of this era, and we have another Doctor to introduce. Guess who? Literally. John Nathan Turner as the producer. The show enters a new era, and this is his second season. We have got Castrovalva, which introduces us to Peter Davison as the Doctor. Ford's Doomsday. Kinder, the visitation in which the Sark Screwdriver sadly gets destroyed. Black Orchid. The Return of the Cybermen in Earthshock. And we also say goodbye to Adric as well. And Time Flight. My favourite episode out of these is Earthshock. It has to be, because the Cybermen are really good. They are a little bit camp, it has to be said. So, we meet again, Doctor. And they're just a bit laughable, if I'm honest, the 80s Cybermen, but they're still a formidable force, and Earthshock is a good story. Time Flight is my least favourite, because it's not like any other Doctor Who story. It does have planes in it like, what should we call this? Faceless Ones, but it isn't great, as I said. Although it does have him in it, which is the Master. Very interesting. So there you go. Also, Castrovalva also has the Master in it as well. Kinzer introduces us to the Mara, which is a sort of snake. But yeah, that's my overview of this season. Then we've gone to season 20. Also, this season will be released on Blu-ray as part of the collection in November. But at the moment, it's August. But yeah, I just thought I ought to say that before I moved on. Celebrating 20 glorious years. In this collection we have got Arc of Infinity, Snake Dance, Mordrin Undead, Terminus, Enlightenment, and the King's Demons. Now, this season, season 20, isn't as mixed bag as any of the others. Mordrin Undead is undoubtedly my favourite, because it introduces us to Turlo as the third companion. And it is very, very well written. It also includes the introduction of the Brigadier for the first time since 1975. So there you go, Brigadier was off the screen longer than the Cybermen. Snake Dance is the final episode to include the Mara. Arc of Infinity includes Omega for the first time. And also Mordrin Undead, Terminus and Enlightenment also includes the Black Guardian. And the King's Demons includes the Master again. And King Jong, and a new companion in the form of Chameleon. So there you go. My least favourite is King's Demons, because Chameleon isn't really a very good companion at all. Although the rest of them are quite good. John Nathan Turner, in order to celebrate 20 years of Doctor Who, he wanted to include a returning element in every story, and he did succeed in some better ways than others. But anyway, let's move on from these and on to the following story, which is the 20th anniversary special, and was for the first time broadcast in November. The Five Doctors. This is the original edition. This was the very first Doctor Who story on DVD, actually. It was given to me as, I think, a birthday or Christmas present, and I've kept it because it's just special. However, the special edition is also included on the 25th anniversary edition, which is great as well. It comes in a nice slipcase. I bought this second hand, actually. And it was just coincidence that I managed to pick it up. But very good story, actually. But I much prefer the slipcase to the slipcase design to this design, which is, well, is stronger than the previous one, but still weak compared to the fiery logo of this one. But yeah, really good story, recommended for any new Doctor Who fan. And now we get into another season of change. We have got Warriors of the Deep, which includes the Silurians and the Sea Devils for the first time together. The Awakening, which is alright, I suppose. Frontios. Resurrection of the Daleks, which includes the Daleks, Davros, and Davros in it. And we also get to say goodnight to Tegan and Travanka. Sorry about the seagull. We also have Planets of Fire, in which we say goodbye to Chameleon and Turlo. And we say hello to Perry. The Caves of Androzani is next, which is where the Doctor regenerates in order to save Perry's life. Spoilers. And the Twins Dilemma, in which we are introduced to Colin Baker. Now, those are the key episodes out of the way. My favourite episode is Caves of Androzani, because it's just so well written, and it has ended up at the top of just about every Doctor Who poll for best episodes. Sorry. However, my least favourite is The Twin Dilemma, which has been right at the very bottom. And it's just forgetful. It's not a very good episode. The Awakening is my second least favourite. But The Twin Dilemma just goes above and beyond dreadful. Oh, my goodness. Some people don't want to see it again, and I can see why, because it's not great. Anyway, interestingly enough, Resurrection of the Daleks was broadcast in two double-length episodes, and this seems popular, so John Nathan Turner, the producer, made the mistake of having double-length episodes for the entirety of the next season. He also stopped showing them on Saturday evenings. The swine. But, although John Nathan Turner has faults, he did do some good things. This is basically a repeat of season 12 in regards to monsters. We start with the Cybermen, in which we see the Cyber Leader and a new form of Cybermen, which we've never seen before. Please bring it back. We also have Vengeance of Varos, which includes Syl for the first time, that thing. Mark of the Rani, which includes the Rani for the first time, another Time Lord lady, rather. The Two Doctors, which is another multi-doctor story, and includes the Sontarans for the last time in the classic series. We also have Time Lash, and Revelation of the Daleks, which includes the Daleks and the Daleks and Davros, sorry. So yeah, my favourite episode out of these is The Two Doctors. I have to say, The Two Doctors. It's set in Spain, and filmed in Spain, actually. And I remember watching it, and I can remember being very excited to watch it, and it is one of my favourites, actually. Revelation of the Daleks is my second favourite, then Attack of the Cybermen is my third. My least favourite is Time Lash, because I can't remember what happens, simply. I need to watch it again. But then again, I've only seen Vengeance on Varos once as well, but I can remember more of Vengeance on Varos than Time Lash. Yeah. Yeah, but still. Moving on. The shortest season story-wise, because this is one story, but it's in 4 parts. The first part is The Mysterious Planet, which includes Jane Sims, interestingly enough. Mind Warp, which includes Christopher Ryan, who later plays Sontarans in the new series, and we see Syl for the last time. We also see Brian Blessed, and we say goodbye to Perry. Terror of the Vervoids, we get introduced to Mel, and this one, The Ultimate Foe, includes Michael Jaston in his final showdown with the Doctor, and, well, the Valyard, rather. Michael Jaston playing the Valyard, and it also includes the Master as well in the surprise appearance. Yes, I thought you would trapped inside that spaceship with an expanding dinosaur. Oh, I escaped. But yeah, Colin Baker kind of left with a bang. But at the end of Trial of the Time Lords, he's muttering carrot juice, and we've just passed 1 hour. So thank you very much for if you're still watching. But yeah, so Carrot juice are his last words on television. Big Finish have actually released a box set for his final story, and it is really good, and it surpasses this box set or this story. But 14 episodes, wow, that's a long story. Whew. And it hasn't been broken, actually. So, yeah, that's it. I don't really have a favourite or least favourite, because it's one story, and I can't really say that much more about it, so I better put it away and move on to the new Doctor. And Sylvester McCoy as the Doctor, and they sort of get better as the series is progressed. But we've got one of the worst episodes, which is Time of the Rani, in which we see the Doctor regenerate after supposedly crashing out of a... we see him regenerate from dying from a crash, which is very unheroic. This is rectified in The Last Adventure by Big Finish, by the way. We then have Paradise Towers, Delta and the Bannerman, and Dragonfire, in which we say, "Hello Ace, goodbye Mel." My favourite episode out of these is Delta and the Bannerman, because it's filmed on Barry Island, which is where Rebels Replicas are based, actually. My least favourite is Time of the Rani, because it isn't that well written. And it's a bit of a drag, if I'm honest. I don't know why they could have put the regeneration in a different story, but yeah, that's all I have to say about this. And moving on to season 24. Next is season 25, celebrating 25 glorious years on television. And because this is all over the place. We start with the greatest episodes of this Sylvester McCoy era, which is Remembrance of the Daleks, which is phenomenal, I have to say. We then have the Happiness Patrol, Silver Nemesis, which is the 25th anniversary special, and The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. My favourite episode has to be hands down Remembrance of the Daleks, because it is very, very well written, and it includes the Daleks in a civil war, because they ended up in a civil war at the end of Resurrection of the Daleks. My least favourite is the Happiness Patrol, because I can't remember what happens in it, actually, which is a bit embarrassing, but yeah, Silver Nemesis isn't great either, and The Greatest Show in the Galaxy is quite good. That's my overview. And now we move on to the final ever season 26. And this is actually quite a good season. It definitely goes out with a bang. We start with Battlefield. So Battlefield we begin with. And Battlefield is the first episode to include the Brigadier since Peter Davison's era, actually. So that's quite nice, and it's a good story as well. It also includes, I can't remember her name now. Oh, this is embarrassing. But she played Lady Joanna in The Crusades and Syria Kings and in Dalek's Master Plan. Next we have Ghost Lights, which is, interestingly enough, the last classic episode to be shot. Or filmed, rather. Curse of Fenric, which is good, and Survival, which is the final one, which is really good, actually. My favourite episode is... Actually, I don't know if I have a favourite or a least favourite, because they're all my favourites. I really like them all. And yeah, it definitely goes out with a bang, because this season is one of the greatest of all. It's a shame that it ended, if I'm honest, on such a high note. But now we need to go over to North America and move basically to Doctor Who Goes to America in the next one. Okay, so a bit of backstory. Ace has left, and the Doctor's left travelling on his own. And he ends up in San Francisco, gets shot, and regenerates into Born Again. Yeah. I can't say much about this, apart from it's a good story. It's a good story. It's written by Matthew Jacobs, and it was basically a pilot for a new series, potential new series, which didn't make the cut. So this is seen as a failure, but it's a really good story. Paul McGann is excellent as the Doctor, and I was over the moon when he got a part in Night of the Doctor, because that was very, very good. Master returns as Eric Roberts, in the form of Eric Roberts, who also ended up being in a Batman film, The Dark Knight, specifically. But, yeah, this film is great, apart from one aspect. The Doctor says that he's half human, on his mother's side. I don't believe this for a minute. I'm just putting that out there. I do not believe that the Doctor is half human. It just seems a bit silly to me. But because this didn't result, as I said, because this didn't result in a full season, it's considered a failure. However, Doctor Who was brought back in 2005 in season 27. Now this is quite interesting because individual stories, and there are 13 of them, so I will just go through them on the back. This one, Rose, End of the World, Young Quiet Dead, which includes Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor, the introduction of Rose, and everything else. End of the World includes a lot of aliens. Young Quiet Dead is the first episode written by Mark Gatiss, and the first one set in Cardiff, apart from the Delta and the Banner. This one, Volume 2, includes Aliens, Villains, and World War 3, which includes the East Lothian and Dalek, which is the first episode written by Gareth Roberts, officially, and it also includes the return of the Daleks. And that's one of my favourites of this whole season, if I'm honest. Next we have The Long Game, Father's Day, and The Empty Child and the Doctor's Answers. The Empty Child is frightening. I remember watching it in York, I believe, and I was just scared out of my pants. And they're still creepy, you know. Are you my mummy? And people still get scared by them. It's really good. Interestingly enough, Bruno Langley, who's been embroiled in some sort of scandal recently, made his appearance as a companion as Mitchell in Dalek and left the next episode in The Long Game because he broke rules and was a bit of a nuisance. But still, never mind. Also, The Empty Child is the first one to introduce us to a new companion for the Doctor in the form of Captain Jack Harkness, who later set up Torchwoods. Well, he didn't set up Torchwoods, he continued Torchwoods in Cardiff. And finally, we've got Boomtown, Baswolf, and Parting of the Ways. Boomtown is my favourite because it's set in Cardiff and it's just phenomenal. It's just fast. I like that about Doctor Who. I like funny elements, but I also like scary elements. And also Parting of the Ways is fantastic because the Doctor regenerates, and I can remember watching that and thinking, oh, he's not going to die, is he? And then, oh, he's a new person. But yeah, that is the complete season 27 for you, and I've also got the box sets to prove it. Now, my favourite episode, as I've said, is Boomtown, but my least favourite episode, I think, has to be Father's Day. I'm sorry. Father's Day is emotional. I know Father's Day is emotional and everything else. It's just that I don't like it very much. I think it's the weak point in the season. They are all very, very good episodes, but Father's Day to me just doesn't cut the mustard, I'm afraid. So that is complete Christopher Eccleston set for you. And moving on to David Tennant. It's the one you've all been waiting for. Well, when I say it's the one everyone's been waiting for, I'm just assuming that. Season 28. So, first of all, we've got Christmas Invasion and New Earth. There you go. Sutton Claw School Reunion. Goes in the fireplace. Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel, Years of Lantern, The Impossible Planet, The Saints and Fits, Love and Monsters, Fear Her, Army of Ghosts, and Doomsday. So, key episodes here. Christmas Invasion is the first one, is the first proper Christmas special. New Earth is the one, and also the one where we get introduced to David Tennant as the Doctor. In here, school reunion, we get to meet Kanan and Sarah Jane Smith again. Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel is the first one where we see the Sontarans for the first time. Well, Sontarans, a little bit, sorry. Is where we get to meet the Cybermen for the first time in the new series. We get to see dudes here in the Impossible Planet, and we get to see a showdown in between the Daleks and Cybermen. Doomsday. My favourite episode out of these, Good in the Fireplace, because it's a good story and it's just, well, good. Yeah. In fact, I can remember being scared of it. So scared that I had to watch Doctor Who Confidential to remind myself that it was all made up. Rise of the Cybermen is also very good, as is Tooth and Claw. The soundtrack to Tooth and Claw is amazing, by the way. Very dramatic. But my least favourite episode is Fear Her, because it's not very well written. It kind of has a bit of comedy into it, but not much. And I think it's the weakest into the whole season. So there you go. That's my reason why I don't like it. I don't like Doomsday either much, because I think it's just so overrated. I mean, the showdown between the Daleks and the Cybermen is pretty epic, but people always talk about, oh, Rose is gone. I'm not that emotional about it. But yeah, Rose, you say goodbye to Rose, unfortunately. But yeah, I suppose it's all for the best, I suppose. But yeah, that's it. I think this is actually my least favourite season out of the whole Tennant era. But, well, let's move on to some more interesting stuff, as we have the introduction of the Master for the first time in the new series. So we start with the Runaway Brides, which is the Christmas special. And, yeah, it's quite good. It introduces us to Donna Noble, played by the lovely Catherine Tate. And Catherine Tate's wonderful, actually. Next we have Smith and Jones, in which we see Martha for the first time, and Judune, Shakespeare Code, and Gridlock, in which we see the Macro return for the first time since the 1960s. 1966 or 7. Yeah, 1966. Next we have Daleks in Manhattan, Evolution of the Daleks, in which we get to see Dalek Sec become a hybrid. Also, this leaves us with only one Dalek left in existence. We also have the Lazarus Experiment and 42, which is the first episode written by Chris Chibnall, who's the future showrunner. Now we get to move on to the good episodes. This is really good, by the way. Human Nature, Family of Blood, and Blink. We get to see the Weeping Angels for the first time. And then with this one, Utopia Sanctions and Last Time Lords is all one story. And Utopia, oh my goodness, Derek Jacobi is so good in his 5 minutes as the Master. Really, really, really good. Definitely worth a watch just for that. But yeah, I really like this one, but my favourite episode has to be Blink. My least favourite, I'm sorry, Chris Jumble is 42. I actually missed that episode. We actually missed that episode because we were in France at the time. And yeah, I just never got into it. It's not my favourites. I'm sorry, Chris Chibnall, but yeah. But your latest stuff is really good. And then we've got a complete box set here as well. Season 4 here is my favourite season of all of Doctor Who. This is season 30, actually. So, we begin with Kylie Minogue in The Voyage of the Damned, which is the Christmas special. We we get to see Donna again in Partners in Crime, which is actually my favourite episode of this one, just putting that out there. Fires of Pompeii is also in here, as is Planet of the Ood. This one is Sontaran's Stratagem Poison Sky, in which we see the Sontarans return. Doctor's Daughter is my least favourite, I have to say, but we get to see Martha again, but although she appears in Sontaran episode as well. Unicorn and the Wasp is very interesting, very fun. It's a very fun take on murder mystery. This one is Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead, and Midnight, and this along with Series 3, Volume 3, is part of the Ultimate Halloween combo. But Silence in the Library introduces us to River Song for the first time. So there you go. And then we've got Turn Left Stone, Earth and Journey's Ends, which is significant because it has all the new companions. All the companions from the new series, at least most of them. And Davros returns for the first time since 1988. And we've also got the big box set. And that's my overview of season 30, and it is one of my favourites. Check out my unboxing review for it, because I praise this highly. Now, for the first time, we're in a place in between seasons. It starts with the Christmas special, Next Doctor. Then have the Easter special, Planet of the Dead, which was the first one to be shot in HD. And then we've got a box set here, which I haven't taken off. We have got Waters of Mars, which is my favourite, I have to say. And The End of Time Parts 1 and 2, which is also very good. And it includes the very heartbreaking regeneration of the 10th Doctor into the 11th. So there you go. Waters of Mars is the only special not to have an event around it. But The End of Time is sort of Christmas New Year special. Next Doctor's Christmas special and Planet of the Ood is an Easter special. My favourite, as I've said, is Waters of Mars, but I don't think I have a least favourites, because I like the other 3 episodes equally. But yeah, very good. Planet of the Dead is very good as well. But yeah, I don't know what to choose to do my least favourites, because they're all very, very good. Yeah, I give up. And moving on to a new era of Doctor Who, season 31. This is one I've only got box sets for, I don't have the individual releases, so this includes The 11th Hour, The Beast Below, Victory of the Daleks, Time of Angels, The Flash and Stone, Vampires of Venice, Amy's Choice, Hungry of Cold Blood, Vincent the Doctor, The Lodger, and The Pandora Opens, The Big Bang. My favourites. I think this is Matt Smith, this is Matt Smith's second strongest series. But my favourite episode out of these is 11th Hour. Because I remember watching it and I was just blown away by how good Matt Smith was as the Doctor. But yeah, it launched into a new era and everything else, but my least favourites, I don't know if I have a least favourites or not. I also like The Lodger, but my least favourites, Amy's Choice. Not much happens in it, and it's a bit all over the place, if I'm honest. But that's Stephen Moffat's era in a nutshell for you. If you don't know what Matt Smith looks like, by the way, there's an image of him on there. That's what he looks like. So yeah, that's Matt Smith's first season for you, season 31. Not season 5, season 31, series 5 it is. Just put that out there. And silence will fall. This is season 32, and it includes A Christmas Carol, The Impossible Astronaut, Sailor Moon, The Kiss of the Black Spot, The Doctor's Wife, The Rebel Flesh Homeless People, Man Goes to War, Let's Kill Hitler, Night Terrors, The Girl Who Waited, The God Complex, Closing Time, and The Wedding of River Song. Now, I've got two favourite episodes in here. One is The Doctor's Wife, and the other is Closing Time. Not much happens in this season, if I'm honest, nothing significant. It's just carrying on the story. But, yeah. Well, Good Man Goes to War is where we get to know that River Song is actually Amy and Rory's daughter. And then the Doctor marries River Song in The Wedding of River Song, so that makes Amy and Rory the Doctor's parents-in-law. Oh, good grief. My least favourite episode is, without doubt, The Rebel Flesh and the Always People. It's filmed in Caerphilly Castle, which I like, but it's forgetful, if I'm honest. Really forgetful. But still, this is quite a good season, but I think that Matt Smith's best season is the next one. And season 33 here had the best cliffhanger of the series, apart from the one at the end of Utopia. In here we have The Doctor, The Widow, and The Wardrobe, which is a Christmas special, Simon of the Daleks, Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, A Town Called Mercy, The Power of Three, Daleks, The Angels Take Manhattan, The Snowmen, in which we see Great Intelligence return, The Bells of St. John, The Rings of Akaten, Cold War, in which we see the Ice Warriors return, Hyde, Journey to the Centre of TARDIS, Crimson Horror, Nightmare in Silver, and Name of the Doctor. Nightmare in Silver, like The Doctor's Wife, is written by Neil Gaiman, and Name of the Doctor kickstarted the 50th anniversary celebrations. My favourite one out of these, The Snowman. The Snowman, just because it's great. It really is great. It's my favourite Christmas special of all. My least favourite out of this set is Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, because it's not very good. Simply because that. It is a Christmas special, but it's a bit of a letdown, if I'm honest. There's not really a real villain. I don't like Doctor Who stories without a villain. It's just not good, I don't think. So, yeah. Unfortunately, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe doesn't make my list. But Power of Three I need to rewatch again, because I haven't seen that as often as the rest, and I think I've forgotten how good it was. So yeah, that's all very good. We get to say goodbye to Amy and Rory in The Angels Take Manhattan. We get to say hello to Clara, or Osborne Oswald, in The Silence of the Daleks and The Snowman and The Bells of St. John. It's complicated to watch it. And we get to see River for, I think, the penultimate time or something in The Name of the Doctor, although she also appears in one of the prequels. No. In one of the additional scenes called Rain Gods. So, there you go. It's not listed here, but yeah. That's all well and good. And now we move on to the 50th anniversary celebrations. And this one is quite interesting, I have to say. Okay, so this box set includes Name of the Doctor, which we have in season 33. It also includes The Day of the Doctor, in which we see John Hurt's Doctor, the War Doctor, for the first time. And it also includes Night of the Doctor, which is a sort of prequel, and The Time of the Doctor. The rest are basically just other stuff. But here, now when I first saw this box set, this is sort of an unboxing, but I'm not going to look at the discs. When I first saw this box set, I thought, wow, they've got one disc for each story. So we've got Night of the Doctor, That's Time of the Doctor, Name of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor. It's not quite worked out like that, because that's Name of the Doctor and Night of the Doctor. That That's Day of the Doctor. That's Time of the Doctor, and that's an adventure in space and time, which is the sort of documentary. No, it's not a documentary, is it? It's docudrama, as they call them. So yeah, which is nice. I think I'm going to need to turn the torch on because that's better because it's gone dark outside. But yeah, that's it. Day of the Doctor is fantastic, by the way. Really, really is. And I kind of can't fault this collection. It's just good. It really is. I love it. Actually, I really do. It's fantastic, fantabby-dozy. And I like that they included the sort of plastic window at the front. So now I can actually display John Hurt's Doctor because he doesn't have another display all to himself in the DVD world of Doctor Who. So yeah, that's him. But yeah, moving on to after his regeneration and his regeneration and his, we move on to 12th Doctor, Mr. Peter Capaldi. There you go. So this is the 8th series, which is runs on to be Peter Capaldi's weakest, I think. But the cover's quite good. But yeah, actually the DVD release isn't great either because all the discs are compressed like this, and I don't really like that. It does say plastic, which is nice. But here we've got Deep Breath, Into the Dalek, Ropes of Shields, Listen, Time Heist, The Caretaker, Kill the Moon, Mummy on the Orient Express, Flatline, In the Forest of the Night, Death in Heaven, and Dark Horse and Death in Heaven. And yeah, my favourite episode is Listen or Flatline, either one or the other. Listen or Flatline, I love because they're just good. Flatline gives us a sort of peak as a female Doctor, and Listen is just really good. It's really well written. Deep Breath introduces us, of course, to Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, and Dark Horse Death in Heaven introduces us to the Master, as played by Michelle Gomez, or the Missy, although she technically appears in Deep Breath, but we don't actually discover who she is until Dark Water. Into the Dalek includes the Daleks, of course, and Rebels of Sherwood includes Ben Miller as the Sheriff of Nottingham, and that is one of the weakest stories in here, although I have to say In the Forest of the Night is much worse. I'm sorry, it is. I don't really like it. It's full of children, it's full of school children, and that sort of brings it down, I think, unfortunately. So yeah, sorry about that. End is nigh. So we've got season 35 here, which is a lot better than previous season, but this doesn't have a disc manual, so I'll have to look at the disc. So it has Last Christmas, The Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar, Under the Lake, Before the Floods, The Girl Who Died, The Woman Who Lived, Sontaran Invasion, The Sontaran Inversion, Sleep No More, Face the Raven, Heaven Sent, and Hellbent, and The Husbands of River Song. My favourite episode out of all of these has to be, my favourite single episode is Heaven Sent. Also, the soundtrack to Heaven Sent is epic, if you haven't listened to it. Husbands of River Song includes River Song for the final time, and which in Magician's Apprentice we get to see, of course, Tavros again. But Face the Raven here is the last one to feature Clara. So yeah, it really gets launched into a new era after this. Also in the Husbands of River Song we get to say hello to future companion Nardole. Anyway, I don't think I can say any more about this, apart from my least favourite episode. Which, sorry Marquez, is Sleep No More. I don't like Sleep No More much. But, yeah, it's filmed in a weird style, and I don't really like that. Unfortunately. But still, can't have it all. Now this one is interesting because it caps off the whole new series. We've got season 36 here. But I've included Twice Upon a Time within the collection because it should technically be part of that one, but it isn't for some reason. And because this doesn't have any information on it, including in size, absolutely no information on discs whatsoever, so I'll have to tell you what they are by guessing. Okay, so this includes The Return of Dr. Mysterio, which is alright, it's not the normal Christmas special. It also includes The Pilot, Smile, which I'm sorry is my least favourite episode, Thin Ice, Thin Ice, what was it? I'm sorry, I'm waffling, I'll have to pause this and look it up. Knock knock, Oxygen, Extremis, The Pyramids at the End of the World, The Lie of the Lands, The Empress of Mars, The Eaters of Light, World and Time when the Doctor Falls, and then Twice Upon a Time. Well, that wasn't too difficult, even though I had to pause the video several times. But anyway, my favourite episodes out of this, my favourite single episodes is World and Time, because it's just so epic. It has the return of the Cybermen, and it's so good. Pilot is jumping on points for new viewers, which is good. I like that it was included. Twice Upon a Time is a multi-Doctor story where the Doctor regenerates into the new Jodie Whittaker, who we haven't seen on television yet, apart from 1 year. Damn. But farewell, Miss Capaldi, you will be missed, and farewell, Stephen Moffat, as well, with your complicated storylines. As I said, my least favourite is Smile, although it's a toss-up in between Smile and the following one, Thin Ice, if I'm honest. But yeah. Also, Eaters of Light is written by Ronna Munro, who wrote Survival, if you remember back at around about the hour mark. And she felt really glad to come back because she felt as if she'd killed off the series. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. And that brings the collection to an end, although we do have more, although not much. Okay, so you can skip about a few minutes while I just waffle over these to get to the epilogues now, if you want. But now we have this sort of box set which is Lost in Time. It includes orphaned episodes, which are basically episodes with no more stuff to go with them. They include Crusades, Alex Master Plan, Celestial Toymaker, Underwater Menace, Moonbase, Faceless Ones, Evil of the Daleks, Abominable Snowmen, Enemy of the Worlds, Web of Fear, In Space, and the Space Pirates. So, yeah, this is really good, by the way. Recommend it. But because they're single episodes, it is a bit difficult to keep track of. So, I would recommend soundtracks to go with this, if I'm honest, but it includes stories from William Hartnell and Patrick Jackson. So, yeah. Very, very interesting release. Next is a sort of spin-off, which is included within the collection for some reason. It's Canine and Company, featuring Liz Layton and John Leeson. And yeah, it's a good story actually. Shame this didn't really come into a full series, but yeah, this was the first spin-off. And of course it spawns Torchwood, Sir Jane Adventures, Class, and so on. But yeah, could be better though. And then finally we've got a documentary, which is more than 30 years in TARDIS, which is basically the 30th anniversary edition, kind of. And this isn't great, if I'm honest. I can't remember what happens, but it's a documentary, so I won't bother too much about it. But it comes with the first version of Sharda, if you're interested in buying it. But still, yeah, that's the collection summed up, and now it's time to do a sum up of the entire collection. And this is very impressive, isn't it? Every single Doctor Who story episode here. So, any titles to stop. Please pause the video if you want to see any of them. Of course, skip back if you want to see any of them being done on that overview. I am rolling on the ground at the moment, but I'm exhausted and I need to finish, so. But, yeah, thank you very much if you stayed this long. It's been an incredibly hard slog for all of us, I think. But yeah, thank you so much for watching until the end if you have, and please like and subscribe for more videos. I feel like a great weight has been lifted off my chest because I said I was going to do this when my channel first opened, and I didn't get around to it because of copyright and so on, but this should be copyright free, and I've just fallen down because I'm exhausted and I need a drink and I need to sit down in front of Harry Potter. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching if you have watched until the very end, and thank you so much for all of the support and the 88 subscribers which I have currently. So yeah, thank you very much to each and every one of you. And I need to lie down. TTFN.